Well, seriously, how bloody good is it to see that again? What a moment from the weekend. Now, welcome back to Season 5, Episode 21 of the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. And sorry to any D's fans who've just been jump scared. I'm joined here with Janath. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. It's look, watching that game on Sunday for you boys makes you think what promising things could happen if Naz signs on. But look, very good weekend. Supercoach wise was good, and surprisingly, Carlton gave up a good fight against the Hawkers. Was very happy with that. But yeah, DR. Look, footy wise, not the best weekend, but can't have them all, can you?
No, you can't, but it was a big loss. A big loss, Janath. Some people had us finishing top 2 now, potentially out of the 4, looking like maybe 5th, even 6th, depending on how some games go. So not great as a Lions supporter, but it's all about the Saints this week. Let's be honest. It's all about the Saints. So, Rossco, there was no other man that could host tonight, mate. Obviously, our brother Spillsy isn't with us for the night, but being the great St Kilda man that you are, yeah, you have to do it tonight, mate. So you're going to lead the charge tonight. And how did you celebrate, Rossco? Was it pants off, sort of run down the street type style, or what did you do to celebrate, mate? How did you actually get?
So we were actually at Marvel. We headed in on the train, me and my dad, probably about 1. And then we went to the Mail Exchange just next to Southern Cross, good little pub. So got to the last quarter. We think it should be leave. We just went, nah, we'll stay. There's nothing else going on. We didn't drive, so we had to get the train home either way. And then sure enough, we just started kicking goals. And I thought, oh, maybe there's a comeback here. Now, I've got a funny little one for you. My dad's never let me hear the end of it. So basically, we sit behind the Saints goals, and with a minute to go, that throw-in comes in. And I see Naz running to full forward, and I've just turned around to my dad in the excitement of it and just gone, oh, geez, I don't know if I'd be putting him there. I want him around the ball to clear it to the forwards. And then what do you know? We win the clearance, we kick it forward, and he takes a hanger. I just ate shit completely. It was just like absolute fate that had happened. I'll have to send you guys the video as well. I managed to spot us in the AFL 360 package jumping around after the winning goal went through.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty blurry footage, but you can make it out and you can see me just going nuts. So great way to celebrate. And then we actually came home and watched the last quarter again. So
no, don't blame you, mate. Congratulations. And look, it's been a bit of a tough season for Saints supporters, so couldn't happen to a better bunch, I say. Yeah. And how much 2 million a year now? Maybe we'll talk about that later. But tell you what, his value is just boom, boom, boom. And you're going to get to the agenda now, Rossco, but we're going to be redrafting this man. Wonder where we're going to be putting him on our lists.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting one with our 2021 redraft. But we do still have a little bit of Supercoach stuff to get through as well. We've got a bit of GDS. We'll cover that more in our round review and preview video coming out on the channel sometime soon. But then we've got our Supercoach round reviews, DR's rant. We've got some tweets of the week, some targets, and some problem children as well. Some blokes who are in the bad books with plenty of Supercoaches around Australia. Then we've got our trades, and we've got the Captain's Corner with some very, very good captaincy options this week, I will say.
Juicy, Rossco.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Janath before the potty, and we're pretty much in unison with our number 1 captaincy option this week. It seems like it shouldn't be that easy, but on paper, it just looks good. So we'll see how we go when we get to that as well. Now, we've raised $315 for the Good Friday appeal through the sale of our beanies. Hop on the website, supercoachswordplay.com, if you want to grab yourself a beanie. It's getting pretty cold, boys. What do you reckon?
Yes,
absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
And a special offer as well over the next couple of weeks. I know that the Good Friday appeal do an awesome job. For every $5 from your beanie, we're going to match it on our end as well. So basically $10 from every beanie will be going to the Good Friday appeal. Just a way of giving back to the Good Friday appeal. I know the number we actually haven't updated this week should be $320. So we did sell a beanie throughout the week. But
Very nice.
hopefully we can go up in increments of 10 over the coming weeks. So if you haven't got your beanie yet, go to supercoachswordplay.com and get that beanie of yours to basically, like Rossco's saying, gear up for the winter months, even though it's been winter for a while now, boys.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, even these polos here, I've noticed a couple of times you wear it actually over the jumper as well, because it's a nice loose tight fit. So summer or winter with the polos as well. But and the hoodie. You can't forget about the hoodie. Get around the hoodies as well. But particularly those beanies, I tell you what, need to keep the ears warm these days. Saturday morning at Assumption College up in Kilmore at 8 o'clock. I tell you what, I didn't have the beanie on. Regretted it. So went straight home, chucked the Swordplay beanie on, and life was good again. So thanks for anyone that has got around us as well.
Beautiful. And a big thank you as well to Speedy Tees, sorting us out with all of our merchandise. It is ripping stuff as well. Now, we do have a cash cow for tonight. So $50 to the first person that types the secret phrase in the Swordplay section of the Discord. We'll drop a link to that in the description below. Now, on to some game day squad quickly. We've had a good week here, boys, haven't we?
Very good.
DR, I'll let you take it away.
Oh, well, for the first time in a long time, look, just in one competition here, we're just in the contender. But I must say, boys, for the first time, I actually got some minor prizes in all three competitions as well, from the starter classic as well as the contender. So a few nice little packs here. For anyone that did tune in, with one of my prize packs this week, got a nice platinum, boys. Got a very, very nice platinum. An absolute superstar, you might say. Just keep him in the back pocket, so feel free to check that out. But, did okay this week. Number 7, had the gold on the Nick Dacos, Sam Darcy as well. Actually selected fairly well. Ended up splitting. Originally had the gold on the Josh Dacos, but ended up splitting it to a silver Clark and a silver Anderson. So I think I just went out there as well. And that's a great thing I love about the contender comp. There is still a lot of strategy in it. Do you use one gold versus your 2 silvers? Do you spread things out more? Loving this game. And to be able to open up a couple of prize packs, always a very good week, boys. Now, Rossco, can see yourself in 20th spot there for the round. How you going overall in the other comps so far, mate?
Yeah, look, I was top 100 for starter, but that's not really my main focus at the minute. I'm trying to get back in this contender leaderboard and trying to get some good scores in Classic now with this All-Star NAS as well. Now, some of you may not know, it's on Discord. It's a private league called the Game Day Squad Rookie League. It's for new players this year, and we're currently in the final series. I'm in the semis this week. So if I win through, I'll be in the prelims and guaranteed a 2025 All-Star card. So
that's big.
I'm going to be trying to put up another performance equivalent to my 12th in Classic this week. I think that'll probably get me home for an All-Star card, which would be really, really lovely. Now, Janath.
Yes, mate.
I think it's the first week in a few weeks we haven't seen you up here.
Look, it was...
Where did you finish?
It's one of those weeks where so close yet so far. So across the comps, not too bad. So finished 80th in Classic, not very good. 53rd in Contender, but 11th in Starter, sorry. So
nice.
Not in the highest that you boys are at in terms of some of the better comps, but it was a matter of missing Jezza, Cameron in Contender Classic. So, you can't get them all, but it's almost like you have to get the exact cards. So if I look at my golds in Contender, all of them scored 160 plus. I had the Naz gold, Font gold, both scored 200. Bailey Smith 186, Holmes 164, Nick Dacos silver 200. But then having Clark, Dale, Zorko across the comps and not having Jez, it's just like, that's all it takes. That is all it takes, really, lads. And so we're going to lock back in. I'm still 10th in Contender now. I just want to hold on to 10th for 4 more rounds, and we get an all-star card. So that's the goal now, sort of. Hopefully we can bounce back this week for another top 10 finishing Contender.
100%, mate. Obviously, it just goes to show we've got weekly gain, DR in the leaderboard, me in the Rookie League, and then we've still got seasonal gain on the line as well through the season board for Contender. So exciting times. And a quick shout out to Tommy from Game Day Squad, who managed to get up to 3rd there, the Zeus Cannons.
Cheeky Tommy, did he? Nice.
3,000 points. So he's done pretty well there for himself too. Now, Moving over to the Supercoach side of things, I think I might start here as I was the worst by a long way, but that's okay. 2501 is a big score in any round other than this one. So I did quite well with my VC. I had it on Bontempelli. But then, yeah, just a few players in my team didn't go so well. Stewart, Zorko, Dale, Shea Bolton actually did all right. I was just about to say him, but no, he went all right this week.
You're just used to it.
Yeah. And then, yeah, missed on a couple of the biggest scorers of the round as well. You know, your Rows and your Gorns and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just going with the flow at the moment. Another rank drop, but, you know, I'm getting the captaincy right, but it's just the players are just not right. So it is what it is. And we'll just try and keep nailing the captains through to the end of the year. Now, DR, I'll throw it over to you. A small rank game for you.
Yeah, that's you touched on it just before. You see this really decent score. It's my best for the year. 27-4-3. And then to look at the ranking and you see a green arrow, but, you know, pretty slight, small sort of a green arrow. You think, geez, you know, this is a tough season. You look at this bloke just on top of me here at 2,800 plus. It's because of these people that you can't have a good round these days, mate. It makes it tough for us, Rossco, doesn't it? But yeah, look, got on some really nice, you know, those ceiling scores. The Bont, I've gone with him for 3 weeks in a row for the vice captain and just has not let me down. So really wrapped with the Bont. You got Mills there with a 125, which was really nice. Naz, I'll let you brag about him, Rossco, throughout the podcast, mate, but just been a fantastic pick after the bye. Your day cost was really big. Sam Darcy, I tell you what, Janath, that ranking to Darcy trade, that looked very nice for you this week, didn't it, mate? An extra 100-odd points.
Swings and roundabouts every week. Every week it swings and roundabouts with those two.
Isn't it? But this week you won out big time, mate. And then obviously the Baz there. But look, across the board, the real disappointments were Dane Zorko, and disappointed I didn't follow through with that trade out the other week. And apart from him, you know, you got your Chera types, but no real disasters, which is, I suppose, why you said the 2,700, along with a few other teams. But that is me. Janath, on to you, mate. Closing in on that top 500.
Look, it's going well. It's going well. So last week, VC Bont, I mean, it's what we were sort of saying. It's too good to be true, but it's one of those weeks we don't just try to go away from it. So VC Bont brought in Gorn and brought in Matty Kennedy. So look, the Kennedy trade, he played well. I'm still happy with it because I still think like even with Melbourne and West Coast to come in the next 2 games, he should eat. He should play quite well. And at the end of the day, when I've got players like Caleb Daniel in the side, like I just know what I'm going to get from Kennedy.
Yeah.
And Nazzy Boy getting from 97 to 162 to just get us over the 2,800. Very, very happy. And we were talking a lot about the move of moving Naz into the midfield means that Sinclair gets all the ball down back. It's just been an absolute mint sort of couple of weeks having those two in the same side. So very, very happy with that. Across the board, Nick Dacos, 177. Baz back to form, 156. Holmesy, 130. And even Petrarch and Warner turning up. Like, it was one of those weeks where sort of everything went well. Caleb Daniel, we'll talk a little bit about as a problem child. And then, yeah, even Callum Mills, like 125. Like, these are the scores that you just don't really expect. But when they come up, you just take them with obviously, like, going through it all. Even a Whitfield could possibly be tagged by James Jordan. Something we'll talk about with Game Day Squad, end up in a 110. So overall, big team performance to get to that 2,800, mate. And hopefully, fingers crossed with 2 trades left, can make that late charge to the top 100.
Yes. Don't worry about top 500, mate. Aim high. Aim very high. I reckon you can do it too.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Janath. Off the top of your head, do you know what your best ranking was? It was in the 500s, wasn't it?
No. So 2020 finished 146. So that is the, if I can beat that, that's when DR and I both were we first became friends over YouTube. I remember that year. You did very well. What did you finish that year? I think you bet me that year. 33rd? Was that the year you finished 33rd?
Maybe I can't. I'll have to look back at all my history.
Very, very solid in the close of 2020 year, but hopefully we can beat that this year.
100%. Well, everyone that's watching, I'm sure will be wishing you all the best, riding you home as well. So we'll see how we go. We've got the top of the pod here. Janath's still on top. DR second, Spillsy third. Don't think that's going to move too much between now and the end of the season, although hopefully we see the little ranks at the bottom there.
How about Spillsy very quickly? We can't go without talking about him. 27.69. Absolute Spillsy dog. He's gone down to 0 trades as well. But yeah, like how good is that? So a big bounce back week there for Spillsy, and he's gone up accordingly to almost 2,000 spots in the rankings as well in just 1 week. So goes to show how quickly he can rise the ranks with some true trades and some lucky calls going your way.
He's coming good now. He's coming good. And just another quick shout, a couple of shouts. No, Dan's Pigeons at the moment. Great viewer. Very much inside the top 50. And the Supercoach Oracle on X, Dino Lazaro, my mate. Absolutely smashing at the moment. Top 5. So I'm really, really rooting for him to get right up there. But yeah, shout out to you, Dino. Phenomenal season, mate. Phenomenal. And many others in the community as well. We'll be here all day giving everyone shout outs. But yeah, lots of our great friends are performing extremely well, while some of us here are struggling, apart from Janath.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know what I'd be doing if I was top 5. I'm already struggling enough as it is.
It's stressful.
Yeah. Now, DR, you've got a bit of a rant. What have you got for us?
There's just a couple there, Rossco. I'll go to the one on the right here. Yeah, you look up the top at that score, 27-4-3, and you're just going, here we go. Let's go, people. Let's see some big green arrows here, some 4-digit type stuff. But no, you look up and you go, only 268 spots with a score like that? Come on, it was just one of those rounds, as we said before, where there was some massive scores, 3,000 plus. I can't remember the last time that happened. So just crazy type stuff. And just left, again, I've touched on it as well, and I don't want to keep on harping on it, but huge lesson. And the frustrating thing is I say it every year, but those gut calls, you look back and it's hindsight as well. But more often than not, if you go with the gut, things will come out a lot better than when you don't. I'll put it that way. So not going to have a huge rant, but yeah, gut feel going to be a huge part of my strategy. Almost, boys, I'm going to say 100% of my strategy going into next year. I'm going with the gut, making a stance since next year.
Awesome, mate.
Like it. Now, we've got Spillsy's tweet of the week here. This one is actually sort of more coming from me. I think we've still got another one, which is from Spillsy. Just a big shout out here to Rory, the AFL Glicko. He's a great tipster, a big numbers man, loves the spreadsheets. But I think he just went a bit early on this one on Sunday. That's the best draw you'll ever see. I mean, who could have really expected a 6 violation and then a free kick and a set play and then a goal after the siren? No one. But I just thought it was quite funny to mention in here as well. Now, this one comes from Spillsy himself. Janath, I'll let you break this one down for me. What's going on here?
Look, I think David Zeta is just trying to entertain the people out there. So he's obviously, we know every Tuesday, if you haven't tuned and you don't really know what's going on with the tribunal, you just have to follow along with David Zeta, and you may get a bit more confused as to what's going on after looking at these tweets, but it's good comedic value. So basically, some bloke, he gets a bit annoyed at most things out breezy over here. He say, not sure what's more pathetic, the laughable decision by the AFL Tribunal or the juvenile, unprofessional way it's being reported by David Zeta. Look, I will say, I've missed Fantastic Four, but it's okay, guys. At least I'm getting Fantastic Four. He's just keeping himself entertained. Maybe the Schnitzel doesn't come in yet. But look, I think Zeets is doing a great job. And look, at DR's gone into bat for Zeets as well. So it's one of the worst takes I've seen in a while. Zeet is the GOAT and love the way he goes about it. I'm fully in your corner, mate. One of the absolute greats here. And we've had a lot of good, I will say, content moments on the Swordplay podcast because of David Zeta breaking it to us live on air. So
very true.
Think we'll always be on your side, Zeets.
Exactly right. He's a great man. And look, I think it's great. I think it's gold. He's not boring. And I think he's one of the best out there, Zeet. So, yeah, had to go into bat for the legend and shout out to you, mate.
100%. If everyone sort of played straight down the middle, then, I think life would be a little bit boring. So it's definitely good to get that insight, rather than just reading a boring report of the tribunal. So good on you, David Zeta. Love your work. Now, we've got some targets to talk about this week, boys. With anyone who's lucky enough to have trades, there's only 2 of us on this podcast that still have trades. I wouldn't say I'm lucky because I probably need more. But for anyone who is watching out there, some targets that we could possibly be considering over this weekend. I've got one. I think I'll start us off. I think I'm going to go with Andy Brayshaw, 550K. I think that might be one where there's a bit of value there, especially coming up against Carlton this weekend. It could be a sneaky trade-in and captain play if you don't have him.
Don't mind it.
Rossco.
Don't mind it at all.
I'm going to go. Well, I'm not going to give you. I'm going to go extremely general here, right? And just give people some general advice. What I'd be really looking to do at the moment, right? We're in Supercoach finals. We might talk a little bit of strategy if we've got time. But what I'd be not purely focusing on, but I'd be highly focusing on is DVP from here until the end of the season. I want to be looking at matchups, right? Don't worry about what people have averaged for the first 20-odd rounds of the season. Look at what the next month looks like for that player, for that team overall. How's the opposition traveling? How's that team traveling? And really heavily base my decision on that. And I'm not saying get an absolute dud that's got a fantastic run. You need a solid player here. But any 50-50, 25-75 even calls that you're looking at, go to DFS, check out the DVP section, look at the matchups, look for that green, avoid red if you can, and really look at that when you're making your selection. So I'm not going to give a heap of players or go into a heap of great detail. I just want to give that general advice for people. And everyone can access it. It's such a fantastic resource, isn't it, boys? We've got so much great info from DFS and shout out to all those legends. But yeah, just a bit of general advice from me.
No, 100% D. And I'm just going to supplement that and say, you talk about DVP. Rossco, you just talked about a mint matchup at a cheap price. I'm going to supplement that and say the importance of a DPP, so the dual position players. So a player that's both cheap, not cheap, but cheap relative to his average. He's the number 1 average in forward. Great matchup against Carlton, getting really good inside minutes. Luke Jackson at 560K, 94 break even. Forward ruck DPP. So if your ruck does go down and you have that ruck forward DPP, sorry, DVP and DPP in the same sentence.
Dr. Seuss.
DPP, you can get him up there and you probably won't have that much of an impact on your sort of in terms of your ruck line. So I think that's a great play to go there if you're looking for a trade and target. That look, for many of us that are in the position of a Caleb Daniel, when we get to talk about sort of those troubling children, which is part of our run sheet, I think that Luke Jackson is a very plausible sort of 1 up, 1 down, last 2 trade sort of operation if you can get there.
Yeah, 100%. I think his run home is pretty decent from memory, especially starting with Carlton this weekend.
Carlton added Port Adelaide next week. Then Brizzy and Bulldogs are 2 tough matchups, but we know that Dogger performs in easy games as equally as he does in harder ones, the harder matchups as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. He is still essentially playing as a ruck, a forward, and a bit of an inside midfielder as well. So he's got plenty of different positions where he can score.
That's nuts. That is nuts.
Now, I think I've got 2 more, without risk of sounding biased here, who meet DPP, they meet DVP, and they are less than 520K. And that's Jack Sinclair, 516, defensive midfielder.
Call. Great
and
call.
Jack McRae, 515, midfield forward.
Interesting.
Now,
one more. He kicked 11 goals in the weekend. Jeremy Cameron at 472.
Janath, remember that text, mate? Remember that text?
I do.
What do you think?
Mate, you can't be running Jeremy Cameron and Sam Darcy in the same forward line and being the top 500. That's just a recipe for a bad weekend.
I know. I said we were texting Rossco. We're like, surely not, mate. But Jezza Cameron, question mark. Janath's like, tempted. But yeah, This guy, it's like, oh, you can't have a bunch of
Oh,
Yeah.
but, man.
look,
Keep
for
him in the
anyone
game
out
day
there,
spot. I don't know. Yeah.
anyone out there, 472K. I was talking with a Geelong mate, and he's like, look, they may try getting to 100 in the regular season, let alone the finals. Only 31 goals to get him there. When you play Essendon,
He's got
Port
finals
Adelaide, and
too.
Richmond
Yeah.
in the final three,
Yeah.
or three final four games, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about. I'm just thinking 100 in regular season,
He's
but
going
if
to
you
get
add
to 100, I reckon,
finals,
if they get to a granny. Imagine that. You get the corporate suits running out onto the ground as well.
I was going to say, what would that look like? Like at a granny, like
Now,
that would
Ross,
be
I
insane.
don't want to sort of rub any old wounds, but 2004 prelim final, Fraser Gehrig kicked the ton. You guys had all the momentum, and then whooshka. So hopefully, if you're a Geelong fan, you don't want that to happen in a grand final.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember it. I wasn't even barely alive.
He's
at that
immune
time,
to it.
so.
He's immune to
He's-
it. He
He's
doesn't
put
even
the memories
remember it.
behind him, mate. This guy is just
I was
it's
pretty-
out of the mind now. It's out of the memory.
Look, this is so off topic, but one of the things that I still hold a grudge against Alistair Clarkson to this day, because 2008,
Oh,
Buddy
I know what you're
Franklin
talking about.
kicks 100.
We were talking about that today.
Buddy Franklin kicks 100 in the first quarter, and you're like, well, he was on
Triple
9
teamed
runs. He
him.
was getting this. My boy, Fevelenko, was on 92, gets to 7 by 3/4 time, and then Clarkson decides to triple team in the last quarter. Where's the moment, Clarko, you dog?
That is so funny. I was talking about that with my mate Jake today, and you
Yeah.
remember Clark? He said that I think Clarko said something along the lines of, "Nah, this is Buddy's day or Buddy's night, whatever it was." And I tell you what, that is harsh, isn't it? Like, come on, Clarko,
stop it, Clarko.
come on, mate. Ouch.
Very, very stiff indeed. Now,
Carry on.
that's a trouble coach causing problems for defenders. Now we've got some problem children who've been causing issues for super coaches. So some of these guys here not in the good books at the moment.
No.
Either of you guys want to get us started with a bit of a rant on some of these guys?
I own them both. Janath,
Same.
well, you've just spoken but I want to hear your take in a sec as a Carlton man. But Adam Chera, geez, it's been an up and down relationship with Chera, hasn't it? You know, that starting pick is super reliable at the start. A lot of it was draw based as well, you know, when you had that really nice run, really nice fixture run. And it seemed to me that when there was that point of time where it was almost that fork in the road where people either traded him out or said, no, I'm going for the long-term hold with this pick and he's going to be based on my M8 for the season. That was looking like a really good call. But over the last 5 odd weeks, it's, become a terrible call. And it is so tough seeing this man in my side at M8. Luckily, I can loop him with McCarthy, and I actually had him as an emergency last week, Chera. So luckily, I haven't actually had to use him. And I've been able to loop on. But can you put your finger on actually what's happened to this bloke, mate? Is it role? Is he carrying something? Is it just Carlton in general? Can you put your finger on what's actually going on with my man? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, hasn't turned up in 6 games, and that's where the issues sort of start. Like, you're wondering, well, there's got to be a reason why he hasn't turned up. We won one of those 6 games. So from that regard, it's a big issue. Like, when Chera plays well, it obviously probably leads better to Carlton winning. Now, the other thing that's sort of been really interesting, and I would love to sort of go into the stats a bit more, but 5 of those 6 games Mark Piddenet's played in. And I don't know how that sort of correlates with Adam Chera's form slump. Like, those are the 5 games. So Piddenet's played 6 games this season, and Chera scores in those 6 games. Let me just bring that up. 122, 95, 89, 76, 91, 84. And if you look at the scores in isolation, they're not bad. Like, you wouldn't necessarily say, like, they're 60. Like, none of them are 60s. Oh, well, one of them's a 60, sorry. But there's none of them are necessarily bad enough for you to sort of say, I have to trade him out. But he definitely is a weakest link. And you were mentioned on Twitter as well earlier today, DR, that I saw, like, you think that Chera is the weakest link in a lot of good sides. And I'd say that between Caleb Daniel and Adam Chera here, they're probably the 2 links that if I could trade one of them out, I would certainly do that. And then the question becomes, is it worth trading them out? this week, even if it means going down to 0, but getting in like a Luke Jackson and a rookie. And so interesting discussion, boys, to talk about.
It is.
What
Look,
would
with
you say
Daniel,
is the bigger sort of trade out? Chair, I know I probably didn't answer your question from like a positional standpoint, because in terms of the CBAs, nothing's changed. The CBAs are still in that sort of mid-60s, low 70s, the occasional 80% game, but that's the way it's been all season. Who's the bigger issue for you, do you think, mate, between Chera and Daniel? Because for me, Chera's not getting dropped. Daniel, I think, could get dropped.
it's funny because at the moment there aren't too many forwards that are blowing my socks off. But then I look at my midfield and I think there are so many other midfielders I'd love to have in my side.
Yeah.
So that plays on my mind. It's similar with Daniel. So if you look at his scores, so we're talking, I'll look at his scores after the bye here. So around 13 against West Coast, a nice 124. There you go, your 80, 91, 96, 79, 102, 95, and then that really low 66. So apart from that 66, you know, his floor is around the 90 mark. He's got a 79 and 80 there, but it's almost a definition of being right in the middle. He's not that bad that you got to trade him, but he's just not performing well enough to really warrant a spot in your ideal side. I'd almost rather him over Shea Bolton, I think. You got to remember, Shea had a really friendly matchup this week. He's been super inconsistent. I'm a little bit worried about his midfield time, particularly with Hayden Young back in the side as well. I don't know how that'll affect him going forward. So, look, if I could add Bolton to this discussion, I actually have Bolton at number 1, my most problem child. And then for me, I'm probably having Chera at 2, and I'm taking position into account here and competition online, I suppose, as well. And that may be a little bit unfair doing that, but yeah, I'd probably prefer at this stage to hold on to Daniel over Chera. But you're saying, Janath, that you're worried that Daniel may legitimately be dropped. If that's the case, then obviously he's got to go right up to number 1, because Bolton's not getting dropped and Chera's not getting dropped. So if that's the case, then I would be happy to agree that he's the biggest problem out of the lot.
Would you say one of the things that I saw on the weekend was Daniel in the second half was moved into like a centre bounce / half forward role as well? Like I know that he had some centre bounces on the weekend, and you may think I'm seeing things, but I did see a helmet in there. So he had on the weekend, he had 3% centre bounce. So he did have a couple of centre bounces in there. But I think that's the big issue for sort of the Kangaroos, is that when you've got sort of Zane Dersma, you've got Colby McCutcheon, when you have Daniel, you've got to pull a lot of these guys that don't defend. And when you've got such a big defensive hole, even as an owner, I don't want him to be dropped. But looking at the thing, what really is there? There's not. He's either going to go play forward, and they move someone like a Sheasel maybe back. That we've seen how good he's been as a backman as well. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm worried about Daniel more than I am about Chera. Rossco, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think he's been under the blowtorch. I think they had a stat that was like 400 and some disposals, and 110 of them have been kick-ins. So
wow,
not ideal at all for the club. Sort of seeing that outside footage, or probably having a deeper review. I think that might play a little bit of a part in him being made a scapegoat. Now, I just wanted to throw up another few possible problem children. I know, DR, you mentioned Bolton. I was going to bring him up. None of you own him. It started to get a bit worrying for me. Tommy Stewart, I know I've been very positive on him on the podcast. He might be injured, but it's like that Geelong phase of we don't know if he's injured. Like he was injured,
Stewart
and then
might
he was
be injured,
and then he played. He scored 60. So I don't really know what's going on there with Stewart. Like the fixture run's great on the way home, but I don't know if he's injured or not, because he got managed or no, he got subbed out of the game against us down in Geelong.
He did, yeah.
And then he was a test. He played this weekend, but he only scored in the 60s. And then haven't really heard anything about him, but it's clear that he wasn't really playing at his best. And Dane Zorko, now he's been a good defender for us this year. Yeah. But I think he might be starting to become a little bit of a problem child. I don't think he's gone above 110 in 5 weeks. And there was a tweet going around somewhere that I saw of an interview of him after the game on Saturday. And he basically said, yeah, I wish my foot wasn't as sore as it was during the game. Going to be looking at getting that treatment this week and trying to get it right to go again against the Pies. So if he's out, that's going to cause a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think he said looking to hopefully be training on Thursday. Is the only other thing I can add to that. But did hurt it the week before. Obviously got through. But it is a bit of a concern. At the same time, I don't think that Brisbane, well, we obviously don't have the luxury to be able to rest our players. At the same time, Chris Fagan is always on the more cautious side than anything else, particularly with someone like Zorko, who, look, it looks like we're going to make finals, and we'll be confident enough wherever we finish that we can go all the way. I think we've got that confidence in ourselves, and I don't think he's necessarily the type of coach that is looking at just this week. We have to play him, we have to play him. If he needs a rest, I think that Fags will actually give him a rest. Not that we really want to. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I don't think that, they'll risk him. Not
Do you guys have any others that you want to bring up?
I've got two more. And I know that you boys are owners of one of these each. So I just want to know how you sort of sit on them. Bailey Dale for you, DR, and Zach Merritt for you, Rossco. How do you boys view them as, are they luxury trades yet? If you could get there, like, with Merritt in particular, like the Richmond matchup, he should have sort of capitalized on. Like, yes, GWS and Bulldogs have been tough matchups. He's eked out 89 and 92. Do you see it getting better there for Merritt, Rossco? And for you, Dio, in terms of Dale, like, he's been a bit of a late season merchant most in previous years. Can he sort of get, like, are teams paying more attention to him? Is there a reason why he's gone 109, like, four scores in the 90s out of the last 6, but only 1 ton? Like, is there any reason that you can sort of adjust to that? I'll start with you, Rossco, with Merritt.
Yeah, look, I don't know. Merritt's playing midfield. Like, he's just, the team's getting smashed. Yeah. I think it just doesn't really give him too much of a chance. They've had a tough run. I sort of knew that when I was bringing him in. I know, Janath, we discussed, I went to bring him in for Newcombe before Newcombe had a tough game, and he played Richmond with the intention of just getting myself a genuine captain option. Now that backfired, and obviously now I'm dealing with the fixture run. So he hasn't really been tagged, but the midfield role's still there. I don't think I'll be trading him. He's definitely quite low down on the priorities for me. So I think I'll just hold him till the end of the year. Now, I don't know if you know this, Janath, but I actually also own Dale. So
I did not realize.
Just giving Rossco a double whack there, mate.
Sorry.
So my team is getting renamed the problem team till the end of the year because we've named 7 blokes and I own all 7. But Dale stays as well. DR, what do you think?
He's staying for me. I wouldn't necessarily consider him a problem child because it seems whenever I do, he just hits back with a big ceiling game. And I think he's that type of player where you look at the average as a whole, he always seems to balance himself out. In saying that, I know for a fact that he has copped attention in some of these games, some close attention, and that makes things difficult. And I can see why he cops attention. But when he doesn't, that's when, he'll really make you pay. And it feels like he's the type of player, the week that you trade him out and upgrade him is the week that he'll punish you. So, he isn't someone that would be high on my hit list. There's certainly other defenders I'd like in front of him. Number 1 for me by a long way would be Max Holmes, for example. But I'm not looking at Bailey Dale as necessarily a problem. Personally, there'll be other better teams than mine where he may be a problem. But when I'm running with some other blokes currently, he's not really at the top of the list for me anyway, mate.
Yeah.
Good, mate. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I just think, we've got to just watch for the team news this week. We've got Zorko possibly out injured. Daniel possibly dropped. I think the other 5 might still hold. Maybe Stewart goes out injured. But Merritt should play. Dale should play. Chera should play. Bolton should play. Yeah. If anyone else has a problem child in their team, we'd love to hear who it is in the comments as well, because these are the ones that we're sort of speaking from experience with. But I'm sure there's plenty out there that people own who have just completely burned them or are burning them at the moment. And very curious to find out more about who they are. Now, moving on, you blokes here are very lucky to own this man. He is the complete opposite of a problem child. Now, give us your thoughts on this.
Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Is this the best sort of set running like two back-to-back plays you've ever seen? Like, I can't think of a single player that's done it back-to-back like that. From time watching footy.
It puts the miracle on grass to shame, doesn't it? Poor old Ash McGrath. Now his highlights got to be replaced by Nath's. I feel sorry for poor old Ash. But
let's talk through this. Let's talk through the starting. Like this is nuts. Like a contested mark and a goal. That's 34. So that's the goal to tie. And then the uncontested mark, running back with the 4 points. And then the goal, which is worth 25 points. Even if that was a behind, it would probably be worth 20. Like, that's how much it meant in the context of the game, right? So 63.4 points. Sorry for cutting you off there before Dia, but carry on, 63 points for 2 plays.
Nuts. All I was going to say is I was sitting there gobsmacked and genuinely excited. And even if I didn't own the bloke in Supercoach, it was not even really Supercoach GDS related. It was just the moment, just loving him as a player. And I'm just enwrapped for the Saints supporters, thinking of Rossco, Jono, and all these great lads. What a game it was. Just amazing.
100%. Now, our biggest priority is obviously to re-sign him. I don't know if he's too worried about the financial terms. I think he's very undecided whether he wants to stay with a team that clearly loves him very much. He's got a very good relationship with the coach. He's very well friends with Owens, Windhager, so on, Keeler as well. But then the sort of allure of going back and playing with his family, playing with Jace Burgoyne, horne-francis, I think he still doesn't know what he wants to do, but here's hoping that he signs the contract. And after these heroics, I think we should just pay him whatever we want, even though I don't think that's really what it's about for him.
I don't even want to answer this, Rossco, right? But what would it mean for St Kilda supporters if he went?
Well, look,
is this like total doom and gloom? Like, if he goes?
Honestly, I think it would be.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely do you draft a player who you can say will be comfortably the best player in your team for, 10 years to come. Like, I know we've got Taru and we've got Filippo and we've got King and all that, right? But I think just the way this guy's been playing this season, like, he would probably be better than all of them for the rest of his career. Like, if we can get another one up to his level, we're laughing, You just don't get them very often.
Him through the draft. Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? And the other problem for us is I don't know what Adelaide or Port could give up to get him. I feel like if he says he goes, it's kind of going to hold us at a ransom, because we're either going to hold on to him if he doesn't want to be around, or we're going to have to let him go. I think for me, I would be demanding for Port Adelaide to find a first and Zach Butters at a minimum.
And that's your prerogative, mate. Like, I think if Port wants Naz, they can't give up. They don't have their first issue. They can't give up pick 20, future first, another future first. Like, that's not going to get done for a player like Naz. You want a first round of this year, first round of next year, and a player. And given Port's list demographic, that player's got to be somewhat good to be able to replace Naz. You can't take the scraps. That want to come back to Melbourne.
And the Crows just don't really have anything. They're not going to give away Dawson. They're not going to give away Thilthorpe. They're not going to give away Rankin or Rochelle. Curtin, they're not going to give him away. So, they don't really have the draft capital to do it either.
Quickly, I got one question, maybe just to warm us up into the draft here, because we're going to redraft the 2021 crop in a minute. But, all right, Janath, I'll ask you, pick one player.
Yeah.
Butters or Naz? Who do you want on your side?
Well,
not Supercoach-wise.
To start a team or for the Saints? Like, in which context?
To start a team. Who are you choosing?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rossco, but Naz was one of your best on in your final against GWS a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, 2023, yeah.
Give me Naz. Naz has done it on the big stage. Well, I mean, he's done in the finals and he's just growing. I know what Zach Butters will look like, sort of thing. Like, does he have scope to improve? Probably, but Naz's ceiling. You don't see Saki Butters having 34 and 4.
Do you reckon that your answer would have been different 6 weeks ago?
6 weeks ago? As a halfback, probably, because you're taking a halfback against the mid. But now you see Naz in this midfield role, you know he can do it.
It's been a game changer, hasn't it? I think seeing him in the midfield role, and we've also seen him forward of the ball as well at times. And he's got icing veins, doesn't it? I think that's one thing that's being a little bit undersold here, is the pressure that would have been on this bloke actually kicking the goal as well.
Right. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, looking at it, without no arrogance about this, I knew he was going to kick the goal. Yeah. I just knew that he was going to kick the goal. There was no part of me that was thinking, is Naz going to miss this? Both times I thought, here we go, he's going to nail this. And I think it's really projected him to another level. You look at those players with different strings to their bow. We've seen what he can do as a halfback, but in the midfield, and I had concerns about maybe his size. I didn't think maybe he'd have the strength yet to be able to really run through there and be as damaging as what he's been. But wow, he's just got the full kit of tricks, doesn't he? And even up forward. So we've seen elite stuff, the midfield, down back, and look at his last 2 minutes playing up forward. I mean, it's hard to not go Nas, isn't it? So
you're going to
be with you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look, it's just
I think Rossco's a bit biased, so we're gonna say it's.
I wasn't even going to bother asking Rossco. He wants Butters at first rounder and something else, so his answer's obvious.
Yeah, the footy IQ, right? Like he knows the rule of the 666.
Yeah.
He points every single forward to go to the other pocket, and he tells Marshall, "Kick it right there. That's where I'm going to run." And they nailed it perfectly. Like, full credit to Royal Marshall as well for a big guy to hit that kick. Very impressive.
Yeah.
But just the sense in 8 seconds, he didn't panic. He told the forwards what he wanted them to do. He got Caminiti to go forward with him, told him to stay out of the way. It was just perfect. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting now to see where we put him in our 2021 redraft, which sort of set us off. We are including in this the national draft and then the 2022 preseason draft and supplemental selections. Now, we're not including the 2021 mid-season, so the season before, all the mid-season players from in the middle of the season in 2022. But pretty much anything that was the rookie draft, the preseason draft, the national draft, or the preseason SSPs, go for it.
Where do we start?
How are we going to do this?
I reckon we rattle off from one down, and if there's any sort of discrepancies between us, we say what it is and why.
From one down.
One down.
Right.
Now, very quickly, we're not drafting for the team that originally drafted for them. So we're just ranking them 1 through. We're going to go to 20, but the bottom end we'll put together in just a certain order. I've got a slide. I've got a set of slides, boys.
Oh, here we go. Didn't know this was
coming.
Couldn't
quite get the team maker going, but I guess this will do. We're going to put them from 1 through to 5 on the first row and like that. This is who you want to start a team with. And so with the first pick in the redraft, this might be controversial, but I'm going to say Sam Darcy. Is there any debate?
Yes.
Rossco?
Okay.
Oh, Rossco wants to debate you.
I have Dacos as my pick 1.
Okay. DR, who do you have?
It has to be.
It has to be.
I'm going to say, do you know, this is controversial. I was going to say clearly Sam Darcy.
I was going to say clearly Sam Darcy. To start a team, these blokes don't grow on trees. Like, I know a Dacos doesn't either, but he is a pillar. Like, you build a team around Sam Darcy.
I think he's the G word. He's the G word. And we use it rarely.
So is Dacos.
He's generational.
I think there's 4 generational players in this pool.
look, for me, it's almost disrespectful to Dacos because let's be honest, this bloke should have a Brownlow medal. If he hadn't got injured late in the season, he would most likely already be a Brownlow medalist. And we saw what he's done and actually overshadowed the performance that he put up by Naz. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? Because what he's done last couple of weeks in particular has just been fantastic. But Janath, you touched on it before. These blokes just don't grow on trees. And I think Darcy just has the ability to completely take games away from people. And you don't want to use the word, but I think he could be close to unstoppable. Once he gets some extra strength, arms right up, who's going to stop the bloke? There won't be too many in the comp that can. So that's what just gets him over the line for me. It's and I think overall this year as well, if you look at average goals, he sits third. I'm not going to, who's it? Jai Farah, I think it is, might be in the top 3 at the moment. So I'm taking him out. But yeah, I think that given the fact that, he's almost averaging, 3 goals, 2.9, I think that
and was injured for a good portion of the season as well, like a good 6-week block as well.
Yeah.
It's nothing against Dacos. Like, I'm not one to say, like, he's all uncontested pillar and all that. Like, he's either of these two blokes, if you had to list all the players in the league, these two are probably the first two I'm going with. Sheasel, Wanganeen, Malera, probably in the top 4. Like, those are the 4 blokes.
Jeez, it's hard to disagree.
Hillthorpe as well. Like, those two drafts. Yeah, like. So are we happy with those two?
Yeah, now I'll give you guys the consensus here with Sam Darcy because there's 2 of you and 1 of me. Obviously, that means that Dacos is second for all of us.
Second. You go with your third pick, mate.
Pick 3, I think we might all have it the same. Wanganeen Millera.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yes.
We slide Naz into third.
And then we have Callahan 4.
We do have Callahan 4. So
yes,
that was...
I do.
These 4, do we boys agree, like, I think the Callahan, like, the way that he took over the third quarter, even with the tag, that's something. Like, if he was playing for a Victorian team, he would be, like, so hyped up. Like, you'd hear about him every week sort of thing.
That's definitely a big factor that plays into it.
I do need to quickly jump in because I forgot Spillsy has sent me through his as well.
Yes,
so just Spillsy's top 10. He's with you, Rossco. He actually has King Nick at number 1, as you do. He's got Darcy at number 2, agrees with Nazaya at number 3, but doesn't actually have Callahan at number 4.
This is bias. 100%.
It is potentially a little bit biased, and this man is a great fan of the Swordplay channel, but he's actually got Nicky Martin at 4 over Callahan, but I think it's 3-1 there. So I think we stick with Callahan at 4. But Spillsy, obviously a big fan of Nicholas.
All right. Well, let's go with pick 5 then, because I think the top 4 sort of speaks for itself. Here we get is an option between 2, I think. The next 2 players, Horny,
I had an option
Jason
between
Horne-Francis or Nick Martin, is what I've got it between.
Same.
What do you have, DR? Who's your 5th pick?
I had the Horny man just before him, and it was really, really tough. But I just think being that more inside as well, I think that the role that Martin plays, lots of other people could play, but I think horne-francis just has that slight point of difference there as well. That burst of speed. Oh, if you look at what they've produced so far, you'd almost go with Martin, but I think with future scope for development, keep in mind, that first season at North, been a lot of pressure on him, a bit of trouble with his body and attitude, I think, at times as well. But I think that the older that he gets, that attitude will improve, the professionalism will come. Not that I'm not accusing him of being unprofessional, but I just think that his ceiling is just slightly a little bit higher, I think. So it was very, very tough. But yeah, I've got the Horny man at number 5.
Janath?
Again, these are players you want to start a team around. And I think if you had to tell me one of these two to start a team around, I'm going horne-francis.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We'll stick them 5 and 6.
So very quickly though, this is the quality of this draft. in most other draft years, Horne-Francis is an easy number 1 in a redraft.
Mm.
Like that's how quality
Yeah.
this draft is. That he's going to 5 in the redraft. Does that mean Nicky Martin at 6, boys?
Yes, that's where I have them.
All
Yes,
right. And
for me.
now I think this is going to get a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Let's hear who you boys have at 7.
Well, I'll just very quickly, just to run through Spillsy again. At 4, he had Martin, then 5 is Callahan. He's actually got the horny man at number 6 for him.
Okay, so just those 3 swapped around. That's okay.
Yep. All right. Are we agreeing Martin number 6?
Yes.
Martin at 6.
All right. I
7.
hate this pick. I really do. I don't hate the pick. Selecting number 7 for me was near on impossible. It was near on impossible. And I'm still not comfortable with it. I'm really not. And it may surprise some people. But I'm actually going with Ollie Dempsey as my next selection.
Rising star winner.
Yeah, I'm going with Ollie Dempsey. And I'm just looking at future scope. And what really comes to mind, it's similar to a Nick Martin in a way, is versatility for Dempsey. You know, so far in his career, average 16 touches, almost a goal a game, 2 goal assists every 3, kicked 24 goals this year. But I can see him playing as that sort of third string forward. I can see him playing as an elite wingman. Eventually, I can see him even playing inside as well. I just see him as a bit of a Mr. Fixer type. And I think that he's got the ability to be pushing elite status in more than one role. And I'm thinking particularly that wing role and then that forward role as well. So that's the reason why I've got him so high. Will he get some inside midfield time? Maybe. 51 games, so it's on the lower end compared to some of these other players. Played the 2 finals, but yeah, a little bit controversial. But we were talking earlier on in the podcast, a bit of that gut feel. Yeah. I've just got some good gut feel about Ollie Dempsey, and you talked about IQ as well. I think he's got good footy IQ, Ollie Dempsey, and I think he's shown that on a few occasions as well. Played for a very successful team, so is it easier for him having better players around him? Possibly. But, yeah, I think that one's probably a little bit controversial, but, yeah, he's my next man at 7.
Rossco, who do you have 7?
I don't think it's that far off. So, for context, I have Dempsey at 8.
I had him at 10.
That makes me feel better. Okay.
Yeah.
I had him at 10.
Yeah.
Spillsy had him at 9. So, I mean, we have him in the 7 to 9, 10 range anyway.
Okay.
Now, for me, I went with a player who I just think is going to be a major banana for the midfield of the team that he's playing in for years to come.
Ooh.
Adelaide Crows, but it is not Josh Rochelle. It is Jake Saligo.
Wow, okay.
Ooh, he's not.
Boy.
Very controversial pick, but I'm very, very high on him. Look, I just think he's got all the talent in the world. He needs to improve his capacity, his fitness a little bit. He has a bit of low time on ground on occasion, but his numbers are quite good, and he should only continue to develop and grow. And I think he does have a lot more upside than some of these names that are still here.
Yeah. Look, I can't disagree with you there on Slug. The only thing that I had Rochelle at 7. The reason being is we know what his talent is as a forward, but I feel like there's so much untapped potential as a midfielder that he won't get at the Crows. But if you were starting a team around him, he's one of. That's why we're not sort of saying we're drafting for the team that drafted them. We're sort of saying we're drafting off the wall in sort of primary school. And you're saying this is who I want, sort of thing, and that's where I go with Rochelle. Like we know what Sligo's and he can improve, but there's so much scope in Rochelle's game to become that midfielder, full-time midfielder. Now, so I think we all mount reasonable cases, and more than happy to go 7 to 9 on those 3. But in what order? Who goes first in terms of the player that you see, the player that you want to start a team around?
The most controversial thing as part of my top 10 was the omission of Josh Rochelle.
I don't have him in either, DR.
Really?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I think people drink his bathwater a bit too much.
Drink his
I wasn't going to whack him like that, Rossco, but continue.
He's like a small but medium kind of forward. He hits the scoreboard, but he doesn't get a lot of the ball, and he's not a very good pressure forward.
Yes, I agree. And look, I totally agree with everything that you just said there in terms of he's not a pressure forward, but I think that's because he's a product of the system that Adelaide is playing in right now. If he was told to go and hunt the ball 25 times a game, he could do that.
I don't know if I should add this into the discussion yet, but the reason why I didn't have Josh Rochelle in my top 10 was because I picked someone else over him who I think is a really good pressure forward, as well as someone that's got that X factor and can hit the scoreboard as well. And it's Mr. Paul Curtis. So
okay,
I had to choose between those two. So that's why I've actually gone Curtis in the 10, and Michelle didn't quite make it for me. But
okay,
I thought it was going to be more controversial than that. I didn't realize you wouldn't have him in, Rossco. Look,
so
this is tough. It's tough to agree, isn't it?
Would you say that these 5 are the next 5 off the rank?
Yeah, I want to have Mac in there.
I've got Mac in
MP, Curtis, Rochelle. I've got Mac at 8.
I've got him at 9.
I'm pretty close to you. I've got him right on 8 as well, Janath.
Okay, so we'll put him at 8. Because if we all have him at 8. Or do we put him at 7 because we're in consensus about Mac? Up. Maybe we put Mac at 7 because we're all in that area, right?
All right.
What about Spillsy? Spillsy says Mac at 7. So he's got Mac at 7 there. So
all right, cool.
I think we're happy with that. But these next 4. Right.
Well, I've got another man. Well, Spills and I also have someone else in our top 10, but I think I may be a little bit biased. Just pop him up there, Janath.
We'll put Pepsi in here. We'll get
the Pepsi Max King. Now, can I just give a little bit of a spiel for the Pepsi Max King here? Now, just hear me out, boys. Hear me out here, right? Now, youngest player selected in this draft and the quickest player in AFL history to reach 10 finals. Played in 2 grand finals, obviously won 1. Ice in his veins. He debuted in a final, boys. Debuted in that final against Richmond, and guess what? Has played every game since. Debuted in a final, consecutively played every game since. Currently on 76 games. In his second season, finished 5th in the BNF. In his second season, behind Neil, Zorklo, Dunkley, and Hugh McCluggage. Reliable, can lock down and can attack at the same time. Has that really nice long boot on him as well. And not afraid of the big stage. Tough as nails as well is the Pepsi Max King. And a little bit of the intangible type stuff. He gets around the boys, right? When he has a bit of a celebration moment, the whole team gets up. He's a bit cheeky. Great around the locker room. He's a fantastic lad. So I think he brings a bit of charisma to the side as well. So some people may say that you can draft a Darcy Wilmot at pick 40 odd, but keep in mind how young this bloke is. Quickest in history to reach 10 finals. I think that there is a bit of bias in there, and you probably you'd have Josh Rochelle probably in front of him with that X factor in his probably scope. But as a foot soldier and someone that you can just lock in each and every week, and what he's already achieved as a young man so far, I think he's a pretty legitimate shout to be around the top 10. So I had him at 10th, but I'm happy to keep him just out and choose from these blokes.
Great points there. Great points.
Yes.
We're going to have to figure someone out at 8, though. Who's going in at 8?
13 for Wilmot.
I have him at 12.
Now, all right, well, there is one other player
we can put him around here. We can put him at 12. These next 4 are the next 4 players, I reckon, though.
Yeah, we've got one more player who I haven't mentioned, who I snuck into 10.
Oh.
Purely on the basis that I think he has been very, very, very underrated as a result of having a below average season. Jai Amiss. from Fremantle.
Boom, boom.
He was their leading goal kicker in his first season at the club, and he scored 35 goals last year, second behind only Josh Tracy. Now, he's currently on 25 goals for the season, and he's been a bit out of form. Voss and Tracy have sort of taken a bit more of the spotlight from him, but he's got 4 games left. If he kicks 10, he's still got 35 for the year as a third-year key forward, and has the advantage of potentially being the second or third tall in that Freo team. Now,
does he have the alpha though? Like, if you know Sam Darcy has the alpha, you can assume Matt
Tracy's
has the alpha.
teammate, Tracy. He's got the alpha.
But if Jai Myth was the sole key forward in your team, would you be confident? And it's not a knock on the young bloke.
Now, that's the thing, though. A guy that kicks 40 goals in his first season of AFL footy, he has to have something. You know, players don't come and do that very often. There's only 5 players in the league that are currently above 40 goals in the Coleman or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
And
they're all
because you normally take the key forward. You normally take the key forward when you're like compared to the mid. But like a player like Paul Curtis, he's been so if he didn't get suspended, he could be the All-Australian small forward. Like, that's how good of a season he's having. In terms of sort of tackles, he's had 48 inside 50 tackles this year, and he's missed a couple of games. The next highest is 32. Tyson's
Yeah,
that's big.
Like,
that's
that is
big.
a huge discrepancy.
And he's improving. He's improving year upon year. And I think one thing that we've got to take into account with Curtis as well is the fact that North, look, they aren't the best side going around, are they? To be quite honest. So, given that fact, you know, you put Curtis in a better side, then what does the man actually do? You know, his goal, I'm just looking at his goal averages here, 0.8, 0.81, then 1.3, 1.88. So I think that's pretty good. 30 goals for the year.
30 goals in 16 games, yeah.
Yeah, and the only one from this draft crop he's sitting behind in the Coleman is Sam Darcy as well. So out of all the crop we're looking here, out of all the forwards, Darcy's number 1 in 2025, and Curtis is currently number 2 as well. So yeah, I would. So I've personally got, if it was my personal choice here, I've got Dempsey, Curtis, Rochelle.
Yeah,
would be for me personally.
I would be happy enough to accept that as a good.
I'm happy to go slug ahead of Rochelle and do Dempsey at 8, Curtis 9, Saligo 10, Rochelle 11, Wilmot 12, Amos 13.
Oh.
Now, is there any issues there?
Do you know what? I actually have 13 numbered here. My 11 was Rochelle, 12 was Sligo, 13 was Jai Amos, and then I've got another 5 names. I'll just quickly rule them out. I've got Bodie Hewland here, Mitch Owens, Kyle Lohman, Jace Burgoyne, Connor McDonald, Brady Hoff. I think very underrated pick, and I chuck Matty Roberts in there as well.
Look, I want to give Bodie Hewland some love. Gold Coast best and fairest last year. He came second. So
did he really? Okay, that's
Sam Collins was first, and then I'm pretty sure Bodie Hewland was the runner-up to Sam Flanders in third. So you're not second in the BNF if you're not much good, sort of thing.
But they were also a bit of a rabble last year. You have to remember that.
Yeah, but Matty, Rowell, Anderson, and Andrew were 3, 4, 5. We're putting Andrew as the 7th. Like, we're putting him going 7th in that draft. Like, Hewland is one of those types.
If they didn't choke half their games last year, then Rowell, Anderson, and Mac Andrew would have all been significantly higher.
Very fair. But I think that Hewland is, even this year, he's been playing such a good lockdown sort of role, but he can also show that attacking flair. He just hasn't had to with Rioli and Noble down there, though. So, do you go the premiership player, though? I think he can go the premiership player.
Oh, look, I didn't want to be too biased, but he really stepped up in that grand final as well. I think that's something you've got to remember. He played really, really good football. So, yeah, I'd be happy with, but I'd also be happy with Yule in there as well. Yeah, I'm not absolutely set on that, but yep, cool.
Now, amount to charge, Rossco, for your Saints was list me who you think the next 5
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't have Kyle Oman in my 20.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll take him back out for a second.
Get back out, Kai.
You
Settle down, Kai.
don't pick Clay Smith at 14 because he has a good final series.
Oh, what an analogy. What an analogy. That's brilliant.
All right.
Now,
well, who is
I
going?
like Kyle Oman. I like his flair. I like his passion. But just this season, he's been injured. He's had injury trouble
so many times.
It's been a tough season. Like, the only thing I'll do to back him up, he's not been able to get any sort of consistency in his game. That ankle's been stuffing up. I think he's got a quad or something now for 4 weeks. And it's just been, he's been stop, start. But I think the year before that, when Link McCarthy went down, he actually got some opportunities. So I think Scope, he's got a really big opportunity. But no, I absolutely agree, Rossco, that one half decent final series isn't good enough to, make a legitimate player. Got a lot more.
But then again, at the same time, though, right? Like, you make the case that if he's not injured this season, he just continues rolling off the grand final and just, does what Paul Curtis is doing and kicks 30+ goals and, is a really good pressure forward. So, I didn't have him in there.
Yeah. Loman isn't just a pressure forward. I think he has he also scoped that he could become a midfield if he really wanted to. Like, if we're thinking about starting the team, I'd probably take Loman. Owens is probably the one that it's a bit contentious with, and then Hoff. Like, those three are probably my next three. And Windy's shown a bit of signs, but we just haven't been able to see him released as an out-and-out inside midfielder, no defensive attention to pay whatsoever. But I think he could become a really good midfield in due course. But, like, Hoff has nailed down being one of the best defensive sort of defenders in the league, right, as a small defender. And now he's going into the midfield. He's laughing up there, Rossco. What's he not happy about?
Marcus Windhager's shown nothing as a midfielder other than being a tagger.
He had 30-60 a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's their numbers at the end of the day. They may be empty numbers.
Numbers and numbers.
If he was an inside midfielder, do you think he couldn't make it? Like, didn't pay attention to anyone else, like, got his own ball, went after his own ball, didn't worry about trying to take out the other team, number one player out of the game.
But you've seen him do it, though. That's the thing. He's done it to Miller. He's done it to Neil. He's done it to Dacos.
But I don't want him to, like, let's say that he's playing just as a midfielder. Like, he's not.
No, but in those games, he was getting 25+ on his own as well.
Is that a bad?
Now he's not tagging.
Isn't that supporting your point?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But he's not tagging, and now he's putting up numbers. I think
I'm supporting Windhager here.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Wait, I don't get it. Are you saying that he's not a midfielder?
No, he is a midfielder.
Yeah. So where would he go?
I think that you shouldn't be putting him lower than the likes of Hoff and Loman.
Oh yeah, we're on the same page. I thought I was supporting Windhager.
Trying to give him a bit of love here.
All right, so at number 14, who is going to go? I think we can move Euland up.
All right, let's do that.
And then we can slot. We can slot in Windy, but Owens. We can go Owens and Windy.
No, I actually disagree. I think Mitch Owens should be below a lot of the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think his year this year has been very good at all. Like, he's competing well, but his set shot kicking's been woeful, and he's struggled a lot. I don't think they know where to play him. They've tried to play him as a second ruck. They've tried to play him as a bit of a mid, high half forward, deep forward, and he's just at that awkward size where they're not sure what to do with him yet. And maybe with King coming back, maybe if we get to Koning and there's two proper taller forwards, because we have to remember Sharman is the other key forward option at the moment. Like, I think he struggled a lot.
Okay.
2023 was top 3 rising star. He was pretty well off.
These last 4, look, to show no disrespect, I'm not really sure who to put last. It's not a bad thing to be 26th in this draft pool.
That's right.
But
Look,
We're gonna have to put
One-
someone there.
one last thing that I'll add, right? Port Adelaide got Jace Bergen, obviously father-son for pick 60.
Mhm.
He could, I tell you what, if he brings Nass across, put him in the top 5. Put him in the top 5 pick. I'll tell you what, he's doing some good work for the club. He would be everyone's best friend there at the moment at Port Adelaide. If he can get him across the line, I reckon he'll sell a few more Burgoyne badges up there as well. Just get Burgoyne and Nass. Sorry, Rossco, I forgot you there, mate. I shouldn't even be. It's not going to happen.
You have a very valid point.
No,
You have a very valid point.
sorry.
Do you know? It might be one of those things where you know how they make the bobbleheads, like the two of them. You get the Jace
The
Burgoyne and the Naz bobblehead.
Oh no!
Oh, Roscoe's going to be thinking that tonight.
Roscoe can't be too mad. I'm sitting over here, and Jack Silvani might be a pie in 4 weeks' time, so I'm a bit.
Ooh.
Oh, imagine that! Wow, man, that would be interesting.
Look, I know
We
it's a
happy
long
then, boys?
chat, boys, but have we got there?
Yes, I think there's 2 players who are very stiff to miss this list. Number 1 is Ned Long.
Yep.
And
Yes.
number 2 is Leakalia. I think those are the 2 that are stiff to miss.
I had him on my list, and I think I had 23, and he's one of the 23 that I crossed out.
Yeah.
But he was very
Boys.
close to me as well, Roscoe.
Josh Ward has played a very good season for the Hawks this year
Yeah.
as well. Possibly even better than Connor McDonald. And so
Yeah, I'd say so.
he should have made this list. Matty Johnson at Freo as well. Like, we're listing these
Roberts?
names of Matty Roberts. Like, these are players that, like, Sam Banks, a player that I mentioned last week. Like, these are
Sorry,
players that
last
are
question,
really
Tom
right?
Brown, Angus Sheldrick.
Angus Sheldrick. Going.
Oh,
there you
Sheldrick is another one.
Yeah.
Just my quick question for you. Would you be happy if you had this? So you've got your draft selections this year, looking at comparing this year's draft, paying just so we've got particular picks for players. Would you be happy paying that up for each player on the board? So we're obviously really happy. 1 for Darcy, we'd pay pick 3 for Naz in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Are you happy with
Every single player?
every single player you'd go for? Yep. I would too, sort of looking at that. I'm thinking, I probably would.
The one that you're a bit sort of, the ones that are a bit iffy about is sort of like,
Burgoyne?
if you were telling me like a Paul Curtis at 9, like it feels like it's a bit much, like for a small forward that
Yeah.
can pick goals. But then you look at his numbers and you're like, oh, you're paying you would trade pick 9 for that kind of player any day of the week.
Suppose what did
And they
Wizard
drafted
go? Wizard went
Hawks drafted
5,
Watson
didn't
at 5 a year later.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
right.
Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
Great discussion,
and
boys.
what is it, Kako at 9 for the Dons last year? Like it happened.
Oh, well, based off. Oh, you can't judge a kid on a first year, but based off, if you could get Curtis, absolutely.
But
Good
if
call.
you got horne-francis at 5 in a draft, you're laughing.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's a Nathan Buckley clone right there. Yeah.
As long as you're Port or Adelaide.
That was
Nah,
great.
good stuff, lads.
I found 1 to 6 relatively easy,
Yeah.
and then after that, it was a nightmare to try to put
It's
together.
almost like there's 3 parts to 1 to 6, 7 to 11, then probably what? I don't know, the rest.
12 to 25.
So, yeah, 12 to 25. Yeah.
Who knows? In a couple of years down the track as well. We were talking about 6 weeks ago with Nass. He's just shot up, hasn't he? But
Yeah.
there we go. Sorry, Josh Gibkiss.
There we go
Oh,
with
boy.
the trades. Go on, Rossco.
I've got nothing. Janath.
Well, I've got nothing, but I do have something if Caleb Daniels drops. So we'll
I want to hear
talk
this.
about it. So I can do Caleb Daniel and Sardell Hawley out for Luke Jackson and the Port Adelaide rookie, Ewan McKinley. The
99K.
The 99K. Ewan McKinley, 99K mid forward, and have $300 left for Luke Jackson and McKinley. So
Is
would
that
give
both,
the Rough Cup. Yep.
both your trades? How many trades you got
That
left,
would be
mate?
both the trades.
So
that's the
down to
thing,
zero trades.
whether to get Luke Jackson in if Daniel's dropped. It's almost like a decision that I don't want to make, sort of thing. Jackson with a 92 break even. It's probably the last time I can sort of afford Jackson without trading out Tom McCarthy, sort of thing. So this is all to consider. Whether to get the wrap cover in. Like Archer Reed's good, but he's going to get me 13 points. Probably wouldn't make best 23 anyway. Like getting a Dogger in, he'll get the points on field. He'll provide the cover. But the issue comes if someone else on a different line gets injured, then you don't get to choose which upgrade or which sideways you get to make. That's the difference.
Janath, can you get it to McMahon at all? Or does it have to be a midfielder?
How much is McMahon?
McMahon.
I mean, I could. The only reason I said a mid forward was so that I could sort of be able to swing. But I mean, there's no reason.
Yeah.
McMahon will probably play as well.
Yeah.
He may get some points. Yeah, that's a good point, mate. Yeah, didn't think about that, but yeah, McMahon's look decent. He shouldn't get kicked out of the team. You wouldn't think?
Nah, I think he's fairly well set in for Essendon at the minute.
Yeah, well, look, I'm just playing around with mine.
What do you have a look at there?
Well, I should have done this a couple of weeks ago, got in Grundy, but I would love to get the man in just with that run in that Supercoach Grand Final. But look, one option I've got is to get rid of Zorko. We talked about him as a potential problem child before, and I do have concerns about Zorko moving forward. And with Bolton, the idea there is that more often than not, he's going to be the lowest score. So I want to just tank that position anyway, get a McMahon in, and be able to do a massive upgrade from a Zorko to Grundy. It's more of a tank the F6 strategy that way there. Or else I could just use the one trade, for example, using some DPP and go for someone like a Jeremy Cameron. I can afford to send Sinclair down back, for example, as in my flex and use some DPP to do that. Another bloke that I was thinking about, maybe a combination of a Zorko and a Daniel or a Chera, is going down to Tim Kelly from West Coast, who's under 400K. It would be in order to bring a star into the side. So I have potentially thought about Chera and Zorko to Tim Kelly and Max Holmes as a combination. So that is tempting me slightly as well. But realistically, guys, I think it's going to get to the start of the round. I'm going to wuss out because I just don't know if I can look at zero trades. I don't know if I can do it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, probably realistically none. But I'd love to get Grundy into the side if possible.
Yeah. And we've also got no trades for Spillsy. He is out of trades.
He's done. He's got no choice, Spillsy. Done and dusted.
Yeah.
Let's go through the captains. So, Rossco, I guess we'll go through some of the matchups then. For some of the key matchups, I'll ask some of you boys for your opinions then. So we'll start off on Thursday night. The Bont up against GWS. What form he's in? 169, 126, 174. He's a very safe VC option in terms of form, but the matchup is not going to be an easy matchup. And the Bont has had the Callan Ward matchup recently. He had the Toby Bedford matchup to start this year. But do we see the Bont sort of repeat that same form? 169 and 174. This is why you pay up for the great man. One of the Supercoach all-time greats there. Finn Callahan's been in some great form, and we saw that he can break a tag against Sydney. Now he's not going to get a tag against the Dogs, but can he capitalise in what is a must-win match for both teams? It might be season over for the Dogs if they can't win. I think Callahan and Whitfield are both good options there. Over to Jordan Dawson against Hawthorn. Now, he did struggle, Dawson, a little bit in the first matchup, which was down in Tassie. But now playing at home against Hawthorn in another, what basically feels like an 8-pointer, Adelaide has a real chance to finish top of the ladder. And if they can do that, wow, it would be great. How about the D's boys against West Coast? We're going to talk about game day squad, lads. But what do you think? Is Maxi Gorn the easiest VC option this week? Coming up, I know we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. DR spotted it. All right, we'll address the elephant in the room. Yes, Peter Peanut Ladders has made the VCC cut for this week. Rossco.
I could not saw it, and I couldn't keep a straight face. Sorry. Bloody Peanut.
Well, look, the matchup data's there. Third for opposition ruckman over the last 5 games. Look, he may not be in the best form. Only 16, 51, and 60 in the last 3. But,
look, he has scored a 95 against Essendon, and that was with a competent ruckman.
There we go. Well,
this week,
lock him in, people. Lock him in.
If we get back to it quickly, Max Gawn coming off against probably the worst loss of his career. Is he the safest VC choice? Now, last year we had this same debate, playing West Coast at home, and he only scored 100, got injured near the end of the game, but he did score 198 on them early this year. Lock and load again?
Yes,
mate.
I'm happy to have him as the first VC option.
Yep.
Now, what about Anderson and Rowell? If you're Matty Rowell owner, you're going to be in a bit of a pickle, but it's not a bad one. If you've got Max Gawn and Matty Rowell, I think Matty Rowell's got to be in the VCC shout this week. He's been in terrific form, plays Richmond. We saw what Nick Dacos did to him, although it's a slightly different role, but Rowell should still feast. And if you own Brodie Grundy, what do you do there? Playing at the same time as Matty Rowell against Essendon, I think he's also an amazing VCC option there.
Surely.
Isaac Heaney did the job against North Melbourne. Can he do it against Essendon?
Grundy should go nuts, shouldn't he? Like we're talking,
Yeah.
You own the highest, the most expensive player in the game with a 5-rounder of it must be close to still 150. I'd absolutely every day of the week, twice on Sundays, go going into Grundy myself. That's what I'd be doing. But maybe I've got just the big headlights on and I'm not looking and digging deep enough into the data, boys. You might be able to tell me something different. Looking forward to hearing your analysis.
Let's have a look at the other matchups. So Dacos against Brisbane, great form, tough matchup. Does he get tagged? Does he not? He didn't get the tag in the first matchup at the Gabba and he went nuclear. Can he do it again? So he went that 172 early this year, DR. So does he cop some attention now at the G? But then look at these 2 matchups back-to-back on the Sunday. Saints against North Melbourne. So you've got Naz coming off a career game against North Melbourne, probably going to have a picnic himself. Rowan Marshall against Bryn Teakle /
Come on.
I don't know who
Let's
they're
go,
rushing at this moment. And then the Geelong boys against Port. Like there are 5 games. So Melbourne against West Coast, Gold Coast Richmond, Sydney Essendon, Saints North, and Geelong Port that you can. There's very relevant plays in all of them, and you can target each of them accordingly. Oh yeah, Rossco, what are you looking at?
Now, I just want to point out as well. I put this together earlier. Wanganeen Miller has got a big red there. North Melbourne are a hard matchup for sort of designated kickers, running defenders. But obviously, he's been playing a bit more midfield. He's still classified as a designated kicker on DFS. But North Melbourne, for inside midfielders, are the first easiest matchup. So they're the easiest matchup for inside mids in the last 10 games for that position in Supercoach, which is better than Richmond, who are third, better than West Coast, who are second. He plays midfield. There should really probably be 2 green boxes there next to the ease of matchup for him. For me personally, this is a tough round. Like obviously there's a lot of great options, but it's tough to narrow it down. I think for me, just because of who I own, I think my vice captaincy might go on Bont. Just hope that he can go nice and big again for the 4th week in a row for me. I don't own Gawn. I don't own Anderson, Rowell, or Grundy. And then I think my captain might be Dacos.
Could I tempt in Maxi Holmes?
Yeah, Max Holmes is definitely tempting. Now, I had my overall rankings as Gawn 1, Grundy 2, Rowell 3 for the VC.
Yeah.
And for the captain, I've got Dacos, Wanganeen, Miller, and Holmes. So, yes, Holmes is very tempting. Now, Bailey Smith is also a bit tempting as well. Obviously, he went bigger than Holmes last week. Now, there's rumours that he's running around with an injury, but then he commented on someone's post saying, "Nah, I'm playing." So I suppose there's no better way to hear the news than directly from the source. But, do we trust that? Like, he'll be playing, but is he going to be fully fit? Don't know.
That's it, isn't it?
I'm going Naz
Tough one.
as my backup.
Yep.
So I'm going Gorn into Naz myself. The only thing, Janath, is with all the attention particularly on him this week, does Clarko go out and your number one priority is to stop this man? Will he be copping a fair bit of opposition attention? That's the only slight concern. But you know what? Even if he does, chuck him up forward. He can kick a few. I reckon he'll be right anyway.
He's in. The only thing that I see Naz, and it's very similar for Holmes as well, is they started out games kicking quite poorly. Like, they've been playing catch up quite a lot in terms of their Supercoach to DT ratio. If Naz and Holmes can just hit their first couple of kicks, no clangers sort of thing, they're going to be out of the block so quickly. Like, and that's the thing where their ceiling is that high that in these matchups, they could really both go close to 150. That's how I say it. So you probably can't go wrong with either of them. But Clarko he's a funny bug. I'm not going to, maybe he's listening in here and he's just like, stuff you, Janath. I've already stuck you over Kev. I'm going to bug you off with Naz as well.
Who could it be, though? Do you think it could be Will Phillips? Like, I didn't watch that North game.
He wasn't playing. He didn't play.
He wasn't playing.
He was dropped. So unless they bring him in specifically for Naz, I don't think the North team has a tagger that could specifically go with Naz.
Yeah,
like, you can't put a Tom Powell on him. They're too slow. Like, they can't keep up with him. Yeah.
His pace will be an issue for really any of them, won't it?
Do you think Brisbane DR would send anyone a Dacos, especially if he's playing halfback?
Well, we did last time. We generally don't tag. I can't remember the last time Berry's come in and tagged. It's normally Josh Dunkley just plays that defensive role on someone, but I don't know. I'd go as far to say that he's one of, if not the only player in the competition that Fagan may look to change up the mix for, just based off what he did to us last time, is what I'll say. But he's 99% of the time back in her own system is Fags. So we'll see what happens. But I'd probably lean more towards no, and then maybe they'll look to fix things up or change things up. But remember, they did that last time. I don't know if you guys remember, but Dacos is killing it. They put Berry on him, and then he just decided to kick a goal on Berry, get 8 touches, whatever, and it had no effect. So do we have anyone that can go with him? Maybe more the question. And I don't know if we do.
Yeah, and then I suppose the other team that I'd sort of worry about there is Port. Like, I don't know if Willem Drew would do a job on Bailey Smith or Holmes. Like, I don't really know what's possible.
Very important one, actually. Miles Bergman out for the season. So he's been shut down for the season. So tag.
Gone? Oh,
he's gone, yes.
Okay.
We should have probably mentioned in the injury report, there wasn't too many relevant injuries. But yes, Miles Bergman is out for the season, along with Harley Reid. So they shut him down with a shoulder complaint, which is a big one in terms of Jordan Dawson got some attention on the weekend, but I think now he's all good in terms of hopefully Bergman can recover well. But in terms of tag threats, for like a Holmes, for like a Smith is probably not in the equation.
So for you guys, you're both looking at Gawn into Wanganeen Miller.
Yep.
For me, I'll be captaining Dacos, VC, undecided, probably Bomb.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Depends if I trade someone in. I never know. I might trade.
Well, if I get Grundy in, it's going to Grundy. I can guarantee you that. Absolutely. I won't be wasting that. It's jumping straight in.
100%. So we'll just have to see how we go with our captain's corner this week. Lots of nice options, but keep your eyes peeled on the Third Man Up page. I believe it'll be out tomorrow. Should be ready to go for you all, and we'll have our top 3 VC and C selections there for you as well. So I believe that brings us to the end. It's been a pretty good podcast. Had a bit of debate, a little bit of banter, maybe a little bit of sniping of some players there in that redraft, but I think we've done pretty well.
We need to know, don't we, in the comments section, what are people's top 10? Let us know what you think. We got it right. Good luck from say 7 to 10. I say good luck. It was so tough. And look, we may have got it completely wrong. Who knows? But hey, let us know what you think down below, because I'd be interested to find out what the community feels, just that general feel about how we went.
100%. Now, to sort of wrap it up, we've got a couple of okay games for our teams this weekend. My boys are playing North, so probably head over to Marvel and watch that. Now, DR, you guys are in Melbourne this week at the MCG against the Pies. Are you heading over to that one?
Absolutely, Rossco. Would not miss that one. Would not miss one. So I've got that. And then at 6 o'clock the next morning, I've got a toy fair at I think it's Caulfield Racecourse.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big setup. And so, I'm going to be very sensible on the Pies Brisbane game because it's going to be a big weekend. So, looking forward to it though, mate. Cannot wait. Always a good one against the Pies.
Very nice.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Janath, I don't think you're booking a flight over to Perth this weekend, are you?
Not quite, mate. I'll be watching it from the comfort of my own home.
Yeah, well, that's probably the best place to be, so you can hide behind the couch as well. But, we'll see how we go. Has one win in 8 weeks and starts.
Look. The Sunday late game is delivered. You would know that. So maybe if you had to get the Jack Newton special out again at Optus Stadium, we normally deliver at Optus Stadium against Freo. So
yeah, Jack Newton.
Let's see, Mark Murphy, Jack Newton's, couple of late sealers against the Dockers over there. So we'll see.
Very good.
Pretty friendly games. So should be a good weekend of footy ahead. Might be some uncompetitiveness, but it could be good for us to watch for our Supercoach. For our game day squad, drop down below your top 10 in the comments if you think we got it right, got it wrong. And until then, it's been a great potty, boys. So it's been good to have you on board. And we will see you all next week. Any parting words?
Good luck. And if you do go down to see our trades, perhaps it's for your own sanity to not have to worry about what trades to make going forward as well. So, good luck. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week with more rank rises like we have.
That's it. See you guys.
See you later.